So, wanted to come on live and talk about a question that we had in the group: leadership skills for managers to be leaders, not bosses, which is where one of the places this is being streamed to right now, as well. This video is being streamed to both my Moving Forward Leadership page on Facebook as well as the YouTube channel. Just waiting out for LinkedIn to approve me, and then it'll be going live there as well in the near future. Hopefully, LinkedIn, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, interesting question popped up in the group, and I wanted to discuss it live and, of course, give you my thoughts. So let's dive in. Ricky asked, "Hi, I've been having this question in mind. What's the difference between lying and hiding part of the truth? Should you be skilled at both as a leader?" Super interesting question, wouldn't you think? Now, if you were a fan of the show House, you would get the saying, or you would probably immediately notice saying, uh, everyone lies. So the main character, Dr. House, in that show would say that often. And I absolutely loved that show when it was going. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Mainly, I love House's character very much. No BS, going to find a solution no matter what. It was just super entertaining. So let's talk about lying and holding part of information as a leader. So let's go back to my first foundation within my ebook, Nine Foundations of Leadership, and that foundation is lead by example. You need to lead by example so that your people know the type of person to be. They know what kind of example you're setting. If you tell them to do something, they're not just doing it because you told them to do it, but rather you're actually showing them in your daily actions. So, with that in mind, do you think you value being lied to? Do you think you value or lying in general or withholding information? Is that something that you believe as a leader you should be able to do? My response would be no. I don't think you should be able to do any of those things. Back to House's thing, though, everyone lies. But here's the thing, let's flip the script, shall we? So, you know, how would you feel as a leader if your people started lying to you and withholding information from you? How would that make you feel? What would you think about uh, as a leader with that? Most people would not appreciate it, right? As a leader, in order to make the best decisions possible, you need to have the best information available to you. So if you don't have that best information because your people are either lying to you or withholding information from you, then you're not going to get the best information. Therefore, you're not going to be able to make the best decision possible. So, this is why you need to not set that example. Of all the interviews that I've done, especially in the business community, of all the different leaders in the business community I've interviewed, one common thing pops up. We often discuss the 2008 financial crisis. And when we discuss that, we often discuss about businesses that either completely fell apart or almost completely fell apart, and those other ones which didn't fall apart, struggled, but got through it. Now, for the former, i.e., the ones that fell apart or hit rock bottom and managed to squeak through, one common thing came out as a theme, and that is often the leadership team withheld information from their people. They didn't let their people know how bad things were, or they flat out lied about how bad things were. And I think this is where Ricky's question really stems from. So imagine this. You work at an organization and your supervisor walks in and then goes, "Yep, everything's great. Don't worry. Keep chugging along, uh, doing what you do. Don't worry. Yes, the markets are crashing, but we're fine. We're fine. We're fine." And then they show up one Friday and go, "Sorry, folks, 80% of you are now laid off." How's that leadership? How is that inspiring your people, motivating your people? All that whole time point, your people thought everything was good, carry on with status quo. But the reality was, in the background, things were falling apart. That is either lying and or withholding information. Now, so those other companies, the ones that uh, didn't thrive, but got through the financial crisis of 2008, are the organizations where the leaders walked in and went, "We are struggling. Everywhere is crumbling. We are no different. We need to figure out how we are going to get through this in order to survive." That enabled the entire team to be motivated to finding a common goal, i.e., surviving, looking for new innovative ways to do their business, however their business was, through transparency. And that is crucial. As a leader, you need to be transparent. So I was talking to one gentleman, a CEO of a company, local company here in Ontario. And I was talking to him and he was telling me about 2008. And he walked into his business one day and he said, "Folks, at that point, what was happening was he was receiving all kinds of cancellations of contracts. Businesses were just simply canceling everything. So his orders just dried right up." And he walked in and worked one day and said, "Folks, we have nothing to do. I don't know how we're going to get through this, but we will get through this." And he did not lay a single person off. He told me there were many weeks that they all went to work and they simply cleaned the office because that was the only thing to do. But they went and they found new ways to pivot. They found new products to push out. They found efficiencies in their workflows to either reduce time or reduce people in the chain, not firing people, but rather freeing up their workload to be able to focus on different areas. So throughout that entire 2008, the whole year into 2009, they almost did nothing. But the reality was it set them up for success once they came out of it, because now they had a new idea of where they were going. They had new products that they were launching. They had new businesses, processes. So as the volume picked back up again, they were actually more efficient, leaner, more effective in the way they were operating. Why? Because the leader showed up and was transparent with them. He didn't lie. He didn't withhold information, but rather he told them up front. Now, I'm not the one for um, ultimatums, i.e., where we say always or never and all this stuff, right? Never say never. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to say never say never. I'm saying never. There are always exceptions to the rules. So, when should you withhold information? I would say that you should never lie. The reality is, you should never lie because your credibility requires you not to. As soon as you start lying, your credibility will be destroyed and people will no longer start following you, because now they'll start questioning, what is it that you are lying about? Are you just lying about this current situation when they find out? And believe me, they will. Or have you been lying to them this whole time? Are you lying to them about how well the organization is running, their upcoming promotion potential, et cetera, et cetera? Everyone will second guess everything you said if you get caught lying. Withholding information is different. So, how do you actually go about withholding information? And when should you go about withholding information? So let's answer the latter question first. When should you withhold information? When it's not your information to share. So you may be given privy to information, but have been told not to share it. This is where it's acceptable to withhold that information. But how do you go about doing that without ruining your credibility? Simply inform people you're just not in a position, you're not authorized, you're not able to, because it's not your information to share, that you are aware of that they're looking for. Give you an example. I had a meeting just yesterday where a topic popped up, and just like any organization in the forces, Canadian Forces, manning is always a hot issue. We were in a manning meeting, and a particular position popped up. Mine, actually. I'm actually changing jobs this summer, so the question popped up: who was going to replace me as I moved on to when I move on to my next role? I know the answer to that question, or the current answer anyway. However, it's not mine to share because it's our boss's information. He just made me privy to it. So I was in this meeting with about another 10 colleagues of mine, and that question came up. And I told them, I'm like, yes, I'm aware of the plan to replace me. However, I am not in a position to tell you. That is being transparent. That is informing people. But at the same time, it is still withholding information. So you as the leader, you can still do that. If you have information which you cannot either legally tell people, it's not your information, i.e. it's a supervisor's or superior's information, maybe it's shareholder or board information, you can't tell them. You can say, yes, I'm aware of whatever is going on. However, at this time, I am not in a position to share that information. It's just simply not my right to do right now. When the time comes, I will gladly do it. So if you follow these principles of being open, being transparent, and going through this process, people will believe you, they'll understand, and most importantly, they will respect you as a leader because you didn't actually go about lying to them or even really withholding information, because now people understand that yes, you have the information. However, you're not in a position to share it. And not sharing information is not the same as actively withholding information, i.e., I know what it is. I could tell you, but I'm just not going to. That is not going to get you anywhere in leadership. That is not going to inspire, motivate, and get your team rallied around you. And in the end, that will not be peak performance. So, ladies and gentlemen out there in the whole world, I hope this, and especially Ricky, I hope this answered your question, Ricky, whether or not you should lie. Well, his real answer was, should you be good at both? I guess I could easily sum up to say, no, you should actually be horrible at it because you shouldn't even do it. All right. That is it. I hope everyone's doing well. Be tuned here at Moving Forward Leadership. All things going on. You check out the group. If you're not a part of the Facebook group, just go to movingforwardleadership.com/group. That's going to bring you straight to it. Join us there to ask questions just like Ricky did. Follow me on Facebook. Be sure to tune into the podcast. If you're not tuned into the podcast, what the heck are you doing? We got an amazing episode coming up this week where we highlight Heather Younger. And where did it go? I don't know where it is. Her new book, fail. Anyway, her new book, The Art of Caring Leadership, which features no other than myself in it, along with a whole whack of other amazing leaders in it. So Heather and I are going to be discussing that book. It still blows me away. I will actually show her t-shirt. Here you go, Heather. Whoop, whoop. The Art of Caring Leadership. So you're going to see that on social this upcoming week because the episode's going live this week. So be sure to check out the podcast. If you're not subscribed, you can do that easily by going to movingforwardleadership.com/subscribe. Every player known to man, I am there with the podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this iteration. I hope you're doing well. Take care. And remember, as always, lead, don't boss. Take care now.